Well, good evening. This is Raven Dana, and welcome to Class 1 of the Dream Keepers Circle. We will be exploring a lot of different things about dreams, not just our sleeping dreams, but the dreaming, the place between worlds, the place where a lot of our consciousness lives, even when we're in a waking state. So deep down in the between, we have whole sections of our awareness that live and exchange information and energy at different levels of reality. So when I talk about the dreaming in this class, while we will spend a fair amount of time talking about the dreams that we have at night and exploring them, because they are layered, much like lasagna is layered, different layers of information, we will also talk about how the dreaming, in the more aboriginal sense, is about that place of energy from which our waking world rises, right? That place from which reality is created through the interface with consciousness. So energy and consciousness create form. And what we're going to look at is some of the symbolic language also of dreaming. So this is not about dream interpretation. I'm not going to give you some kind of one size fits all, what does this mean? Because our dreams are tailored for our symbol system. We will take a look at some of the more common things and themes about dreams. But more importantly, we're going to look at a method for what we call active dreaming, not lucid dreaming, not trying to control your dream while you're in it, but active dreaming, meaning that yes, you learn to be awake and know that you're dreaming when you're dreaming, and you also get to actually interface with the characters of your dream in a more conscious way, which enables you to bring back energy and information into the waking world. So I guess the first question I want to take a look at is, so what happens when we dream? Where do we go when we dream? When we actually dream at night? We'll start there. Although we do spend a slice of our dream time rehashing events of the day, we do far, far more than that. Often, what's going on in the background is that we're working through issues, or we're having a glimpse of the future, or we're looking back or going back into the past for some reason. We travel different planes of existence and different dimensions in the between worlds when we dream. It's not just noise in our minds. We actually exit, our consciousness will exit and visit other locations. Now, I don't know if you've ever had a shared dream with somebody, but that's another interesting phenomenon that occurs. I don't know if you've ever had an experience of a visit from the dead in your dreams, but we definitely can travel the dream worlds into the land of the dead and meet up with people there that we know. So we're going to spend a class number 3 is going to spend a fair amount of time consciously traveling in some of those deeper dream worlds. So I just want you to know that your symbol system is yours. And to help you decode your dreams requires a little bit of effort on your part. So what I'm going to ask you to do is to get a dream journal. It can be a notebook, it can be anything you want it to be. And in that dream journal, so if you say, but I don't remember my dreams, don't worry, stay with me. We're going to get past that. I want you to give yourself the gift of recording your dreams. You don't have to have extreme detail in dreams. Just record the little strands or threads or snippets that you remember. And do it for yourself as soon as you wake up. We all know that if you wait, if you say, wow, what a dream that was, I'll remember when I wake up. Yeah, that's not going to happen. So have the notebook by your bed. And when you first rise from the dream and you're in that liminal space between fully waking and being in the dream space, that's when you want to record your dream. So even if, you don't have to even turn the light on. Just get your notebook and write some notes. You can flush it out in the morning. As long as you get some notes down on the page, the rest of the dream will most likely come back. And there's a reason I want you to do this, because you want to create an open communication between your waking mind and the deeper parts of your awareness that not only travels when you're dreaming, but also communicates with the deeper parts of you and the deeper realms when you're awake. So this is the place where synchronicities come from, where meaningful coincidences arise, where things appear in your waking world that are like a dream, right? This is where we talk to ourselves. This is the method of symbol and imagery. That is the language of the dreaming. Symbols, imagery, and emotions. So imagery and emotions, right? What we see and what we feel. Not what we say, not so much our words, but what we see, the images we create, and how we feel give us tremendous information about what's going on in a dream. So that's one of the first things I'll just have you notice. Now, if you say, but I don't dream, or I don't remember my dreams, well, there's a couple things that you can do about that. And the one thing I would suggest is that you simply set an intention, that you ask your dream self, you ask your deeper awareness to send you a dream, and to say, I promise I'm going to keep it, I'll write it down, I will do my best to remember. You want to make the request as simple as you can. Give me a juicy dream. Give me a dream about, doesn't matter, my family. I'd like a dream about the song that I love to sing. Whatever it is, make it clear, simple, purposeful. And it might take 3 or 4 nights of doing that to get a dream. But you will get a dream. And don't get frustrated if it's not forthcoming quickly. Let yourself remember any little snippet, or even just the feeling that you have when you wake up, because that communication needs to be reopened if you are having a dream drought, if you're not remembering, or haven't been remembering for a long time. And another place to start playing with that is in waking dreams, daydreams. Perhaps after a meditation or during a journey, you can close your eyes and drift, be in that liminal space. You can go on a dream journey, an imaginary journey. Now, I want you to also understand that in our conversations, when I talk about the imaginal worlds, I'm not talking about make-believe. I'm talking about what we imagine sets things into motion. Before we do anything in life, we imagine it. When we are thirsty, we have an image of getting up to getting that glass of water before we do it. We just don't think about it. If you consider what happens when you decide you're going to take a shower, you actually will have images of getting up or being in the shower, or the smell of your soap, or whatever that is that means, the symbols that mean shower to you will arrive as images before you get up and take the action. So imaginal, or right, not so the imagination that we have is the bridge between the world of pure energy and the world of action or manifestation. It is a bridge. So the more we imagine something, the more vividly we imagine something, the more real it becomes, the less work we have to do. Okay? In fact, there's a study that was done many, many years ago and I love this. It was in an old Reader's Digest, and it was a study where they took basketball players, divided them. It was summertime, groups of high school students, and they divided them up. They had a third of the basketball players imagine that they were shooting perfect baskets. They had a third of them shoot baskets, right? So this is 20 minutes of imagining, 20 minutes of actual shooting, and then 10 minutes of shooting and 10 minutes of imagining in the third group. So they laughed about it. They thought, oh, those guys standing up there at the foul line throwing baskets, they're the ones that are going to, at the end, get the most baskets. Well, it wasn't the case. After their time of practice, which I think it was 2 or 3 weeks where they did this, then they went ahead and they shot baskets, and how many did they get? Well, the highest score, believe it or not, went to the group that only imagined. The second highest score went to the group that half imagined and half shot baskets. Well, why is that? Well, it has something to do with, it's not practice that makes perfect if what you're practicing isn't working, because then you're practicing the thing not working, right? But perfect practice, imagining that perfect shot, feeling it in your body over and over and over again, gives you a type of muscle memory. In fact, there's something to that that's being used these days in ski instruction. I know a ski instructor who is now, before he ever puts his newbies out on the snow, has them watch people skiing in perfect form and has them imagining that they're skiing in perfect form, and puts them on some kind of machine that simulates the movements while they're doing the imagining. Anyway, I'm telling you this because we're going to do a lot of creative play in the imaginal realms, and I don't want you to doubt yourself when you see things and feel things. I want you to be able to freely trust what you get. So if you don't remember a lot of dreams, another thing that you can do is to stay in bed a little longer, both in the morning, and to go to bed a few minutes earlier and to hang out a bit in that liminal place. When you're first drifting off, it's very common to have images, and right after you wake up in the morning, when you're sort of half in and half out, also common to have thoughts and images that may even be parts of your dreams from the night. So if that's all you get, that's fine. You're going to start there, and it'll work. It'll work for our purposes. Okay, I'm going to read you a quote from Robert Moss, who is somebody who's written a tremendous amount about dreams and dreaming and healing through dreams and soul recovery through dreams. And anyway, he's written a lot of books. I highly recommend that you read a few because he's very, very good at what he does. And here's the quote. "Dreaming is about waking up to a different order of reality. We can dream wide awake and in everyday life by paying attention to the play of signs and symbols that exist all around us. Navigating by synchronicity is the dreamer's way of operating 24/7. Through the weaving of synchronicity, we are brought awake and alive to a hidden order of events, to the understory of our world and our lives." It's Robert Moss. Okay, so what's the difference between active dreaming and lucid dreaming? So typically in lucid dreaming, we're given instructions not just to wake up inside the dream, but to change the dream, to make something happen in the dream. Or, if you're being chased by somebody, don't run away, but, turn them into something else. And in active dreaming, what we do is go with the energy of the dream. We fully engage with the energy of the dream. So if you're being chased by a bear, for example, in your dream, instead of trying to turn the bear into a butterfly, or instead of trying to fly away like a bird, you will face the bear. You will turn and face the bear and see what happens next. Because it's a completely different way of interacting with whatever your dream is talking to you about. So we're not trying to control the dream space. We're trying to interface in a way that we learn what information and energy is being presented to us, and to be able to bring that back so we can do something, incorporate that in some way into our lives. I'm going to teach you a process today that's actually from Robert Moss. It is called the lightning dream process, which is a way, when you do have a dream, of going through several steps to see what information might be there for you. So if you're going to do a lot of dream work, and you're going to be doing imaging and playing in those between realms, people often ask, well, if I'm going to be floating in the between a lot, shouldn't I be protected? Well, if you're scared about that, if you have guides and guardians or spirit animals that you call on, do that. Invoke those before you go to bed or before you go on a meditative journey. And there is a phrase, again, I learned this from Robert Moss and I like it very much. And it goes like this. May my doors and gates and paths be open, and my doors and gates and paths between the worlds, and may they be closed to any who would harm me or those I love. So We're going to say that at the beginning of every time we do something. Every class will say it once, so you get the hang of it and you can use it as often as you like in your own dream work. So may our doors and gates and paths be open, and our doors and gates and paths between the worlds, and may they be closed to any who would harm us or those we love. Clear and simple. We're closing the gates on any energies we don't want, and we're letting our paths be open so that we can navigate through different layers of reality and explore. Okay. I'm going to read you another quote that I really like by Robert Moss. Real magic includes the art of bringing gifts from another world into this one. In dreaming, we go into other realities that may include places of guidance, healing, initiation, and adventure. And when we bring something back from these places and take action in our ordinary lives to embody the guidance of that energy, that is one practice of real magic. Okay, I love that quote. Okay. So my short history of dreaming, long before I stumbled upon Robert Moss, from the time I was very young, I've had very, very vivid, complex, full-color dreams. My grandmother always had dreams, and she was known in our family for being the person who had what are called true dreams. She would have prophetic dreams. She would dream if somebody was going to have a baby, she'd know the sex of that child. If somebody shouldn't get on that plane, she would call them up and tell them. Now, this is my grandmother who essentially stopped leaving the house when I was about 5 years old, but she had all of these dreams, and her dream, she was able to dream true. So she was known in the wide range of cousins and extended family and neighbors as somebody that if she called you and said, I had a dream about you, her track record told you needed to listen. And again, it's not that she only had creepy dreams or bad dreams. That's not it. Like I said, she would as easily predict the birth of a boy or a girl as she would the possibility you're going to get into a car wreck. So I'm just saying that she had this capacity for being in the dreaming and bringing information back. Now, my grandmother also could see her dead brother, Mac, but that's a conversation for another day. I have always had very complex, rich dreams, and I've often solved problems in dreams. And I've often had dreams that gave me information or showed me things and people before they happened. So I didn't come to Robert Moss's classes years ago with a deficiency in dreaming, but I did come to hone my skills and to be able to more consciously extract information and energy from the dream space, and to actually develop my skill at using the dream space for things like healing and soul retrieval, which we're going to touch on in these classes as well. So we're going to go over right now what's called the lightning dream process. So I'm going to suggest that if you have a dream, that every day you dream, not only do you write it down, but you share it with somebody, and you start asking the people in your life what their dreams were. What did they dream? Now, if you had a dream that's complicated right down to the pattern of the wallpaper, don't go on for 40 minutes. Just tell the dream in a succinct way, which for some of us is hard. But that's the first thing I'd want you to do, is to be able to relate your dream, and reveal it in a way that's clear and succinct. If there's an important detail, like if that pattern on the wallpaper was the same pattern that was in your grandmother's bedroom when you were a kid, and that means something, that gave you a strong emotion, sure, include it. But other than that, leave the details. Leave the details out. Okay. So here's what we'll do. If you have a dream, I'll tell you a short dream and we'll take it apart. So I had a dream that I was wandering down the street, and in front of me, off a side street in front of me, there came a cat with a big bushy tail, a big bushy tail on a little gray cat. So I had that dream. That's all it was. It was just me watching the cat going down the street. But I was very intrigued by this cat, all right? So that's it, the whole dream. So there, I shared the dream. Now, the next question is, the first question after sharing the dream is, what did you feel upon awakening? Well, upon awakening, I felt happy, and I felt like, I wanted to pick that kitty up and feel the softness of its fur. It looked so floofy and fluffy, right? The next thing is, title the dream. All right, fluffy-tailed cat, there we go. Now, reality check. What's familiar about that dream? Do I have any associations or memories or thoughts? Well, at the time I didn't have a cat. Made me think of cats I'd had. And it made me have this, the dream, the thought I had is I would really like to have another cat. Like I missed it. That dream had me missing the cats that I'd had. So then the next thing is you play a game. Can't do this alone with your own dream, but you do it when you're sharing a dream with someone else. It's called If It Were My Dream. So in other words, if I were telling that dream to somebody, they might say to me, well, if it were my dream, I might think about going out to get a cat. Or if it were my dream, I might think about this special I saw in cats where they are far more intelligent than we ever knew. Or if it were my dream, I might go look up some information on gray cats, right? So you play this game called If It Were My Dream. And you'd be surprised at how much interesting insight and information you get about your dream by inviting others to share their association and thoughts about your dream. You will notice things you didn't notice and have maybe even some little aha moments, okay? So then the last thing is, what action can you take to bring energy through from the dream? How can you honor this dream in the waking world? All right, well, interestingly enough, after I had that dream, I was in the middle of doing some guided imagery for somebody, a relaxation meditation, and out of nowhere, there was this cat again. It came right out in the middle of their meditation. It was just there. So about 2 weeks later is when the cat that I have now, floofy gray cat, turned up on my deck, and of course, how I honored the dream was by inviting the cat in and letting her stay, which I may or may not have done that had I not had that dream and then have the same kitty, pop into my imagery with somebody else. So now you've seen her in the meditations, you probably saw her wandering around. So I literally brought the cat through from my dream into my waking reality because she showed up. So not that everything's going to be that cut and dry in the dream space, but it's one example. So I'm going to give you those steps again. So you share the dream succinctly. The first question is, what do you feel? What emotions did you have upon awakening? Right? Then, is there a title for the dream? What stood out? If it was going to be a book or a movie, what would you call it? Then you do a reality check. What's familiar about this? Is there anything about this that could actually happen? Is there anything about this that's in my already existing life? Is there anything about this dream that triggers a memory? And what thoughts do I have just thinking about the dream again? What associations do I have with other things? What comes up for me? All right. If you're playing the game, if you're playing with somebody else, if you're doing the dream share with somebody, then you get to listen to them and they play If It Were My Dream, and they share with you whatever associations they may have. Now, they don't get to tell you what your dream means. So again, this is not dream interpretation. They get to share with you. You're inviting them to share anything that stands out for them, any meaning making that they have, or any insights that come to them about this dream. And then the final step is to ask the question, what action can bring energy and information? How can I honor this dream by bringing it into my waking life? And I don't know, maybe you could if it was like this, a dream about a cat, maybe you could get a little kitty sticker, or maybe you could write. So there's whatever it is that works for you to bring that information and energy through in a way that honors the dream, especially if it's a big dream, if it has a high emotional charge to it, if it's laying out something for you to take a good long look at. Now, dreams that we have at night and synchronicities that occur during the day also often interface. So one of the things I'd like you to do this week, in addition to jotting down your dreams and sharing your dreams, is taking a look at the synchronicities that occur in your life, and you write those down in your dream journal also. You may see a pattern after a while, that synchronicities show up with a certain kind of pattern or sequence that you are probably not aware of right now. But if you write them down and then go back to them, it is remarkable what you will discover, especially if you wait a month and then go back and look and go, well, would you look at that? I had 3 synchronicities like this, and then that thing happened, or this person showed up. And especially if you have a dream and then a synchronicity, right? The energy is gathering momentum. I just had somebody tell me this today, that she was at a friend's house and that friend had a TV show on. And some character in the show reminded her of somebody she knew that she hadn't seen for 13 years. And every now and then through the years, they might, text each other and say, hey, this is the city I'm in or whatever. But no face-to-face contact, no phone calls for 13 years. Okay. That night, she had a dream about that person. The next day, that person texted her. And when the text came in, he said, look, after 13 years and we've never even had a conversation, I just want to talk to you. I need to call you. And that night, they called each other and talked for 2.5 hours. So again, the interplay of what occurs in the dreaming and what occurs in the synchronicities of the world. So the TV show that brought that person to mind, the dream that reinforced it, the text the very next day after months and months and months, a very long time, 8 months was the last time they had heard from each other, and it was just a text, hey, how are you? So anyway, I'm just showing you that there's this wonderful weaving that occurs. So that liminal space exists around us and within us, even when we're wide awake. So part of learning how to navigate dreams is learning to look and see and notice how our deeper awareness is bringing us information from the deep all the time, all day long. So play with that a little bit, see what happens for you. So there's a game that you can play with that particular idea. You can put a question to the world, and it can be, again, you don't have to struggle. You can say, show me something that I most need to know right now. Right? That's pretty basic. And then what you do is you notice the next 3 things that stand out, whatever that is. They don't have to be giant things. It doesn't have to be something dropping out of the sky. But notice the next 3 things that show up. Maybe somebody drives by and there's a song on the radio that catches your attention. And maybe right after that, you see somebody ride down the street on a bicycle. And maybe a few minutes later, you notice this color, this intense blue of a car that goes by. Okay, there's your 3 things. In that moment, they may not connect for you. They may not make any sense. But weave them together. See what happens if you weave them together and let them percolate on their own. And see where those 3 things can show you or they're telling you something in answer to your question. You don't try to analyze it or figure it out. You sit with it because they're symbols, right? And you're learning your symbol process. You're learning how you talk to yourself in the deeper, broader areas of your awareness. So it's a place to play, and sometimes it will make spooky sense. Sometimes it will make exquisite and immediate sense, and I love it when that happens. But if that doesn't happen right away, or it doesn't happen every time, that's okay, because it's a skill that you'll be developing. So allow yourself to be aware of those little feelings that you have when something is ticking in the background saying, pay attention to this, pay attention to this. One of the things that I want to help you do during this course is to increase your sensitivity to seeing the things that you normally step over and miss. The little things, the signs, the symbols, the movements of energy from your dream space into waking life. This is very important, and for this reason. If you think about your consciousness, our awareness, who and what we are, the person, the me that you see as I'm talking to you now, right, is just the tip of the iceberg. The you that you see in the mirror is just the tip of the iceberg. The greater part of your awareness, the large part of your awareness, is the part under the water, under the surface, where so many things are happening at once that you couldn't possibly hold them all consciously, because you wouldn't be able to walk down the street or tie your shoes or cook a meal or drink your coffee. There's too much input. But there is a part of you that gathers all of that information, that flows in and out with all of that energy, and that your conscious awareness, when you're tuned in, you can pick up those signals and you can let yourself ride the energy and be guided in those deeper ways toward what you want and away from what you don't want or what might be harmful. Once you get the feel for this, you can also enter the dreaming deliberately. You do it now when you daydream, but enter the daydream space with intent and help yourself to create a healing. Help yourself to create a path through something you've been struggling with. Help somebody else to create a dream of hope, a space for healing for them. So there's plenty of different things that we'll be able to do with this information. I'm going to go over the lightning dream work process one more time, simply. Succinctly tell your dream. How did you feel emotionally when you woke up? What would the title to that dream be? Do a reality check. Is there anything about that dream that currently exists in your waking reality? If so, what is it? And then what are the associations, memories, and thoughts that the dream triggers? If you're with another person sharing that dream, you're going to do, if it were my dream, and let them tell you. And then finally, what action can I take to honor this dream, whatever that looks like to you? Okay, that's enough on that. That's plenty. So how are we dreaming ourselves awake? If we think of our nighttime dreams more like the template or the information that guides us, that gives us what we're doing, that shows us what we're doing in our waking life, then we'll get a little bit of a clue that, when we're asleep, we tend to be more our real selves, right? We do things in our dreams we wouldn't do when we're awake. Now, it's not that we don't also share some of the fears and some of the hesitation, because we do, right? We can be in a dream and think, oh my goodness, I'm naked. I can't be naked here. But we can also be in a dream and think, I'm naked and I'm dreaming. Who cares? We can also be in a dream and think, I'm going to fly. And we do. So, as we relax into being who we are, we recognize that in our dreams, we tend to be more ourselves authentically than when we're awake. For the simple reason that we're not trying to protect our image, we're not trying to put on a happy face, we're not trying to do something for show. So you can learn a lot about your own direction and movement in life by letting yourself be aware of your deeper dream self. You can also bring through that energy and help yourself to unhook from things of others that get you going. You can bring through that energy of confidence, and in your waking self, you can break taboos that you've held. You can develop some passionate strengths for things that you've been trying to garner up the energy for. We can do lots of stuff that way. So that's how we're always dreaming ourselves awake. We're helping ourselves to be more aware through that authenticity that we have when the day world when the day world and the worries that we drag around with us have been put to the side for a while. All right. Let's see. I'm going to go over your assignments and then we're going to do a little bit of imagining. So I want you to invite dreams before you go to sleep. If you'd like to have more dreams or have more vivid dreams or have a dream about something, you can even say, I'm having this health issue. I'd like to have a dream about that. I'd like a healing dream. Gives me some direction, okay? Or I'm having an issue with finances. I'd like an abundance dream, a money dream, and give me a little bit of a new direction here, whatever that is, okay? Start a dream journal. Share your dreams with others. And practice the lightning dream process, right? And don't forget to play the waking dream game, to look around, find the synchronicities, find the little symbols, the little things that jump out at you, and make note of them. Write them down, because we'll play more with those as time goes by. And also look for, I am going to put up a special page on Facebook that's just for the participants of this class. It won't go up until probably over the weekend, but then you'll be able to share your dreams and comment right on that page. Now, of course, you can also do a fair amount of that right here on this YouTube site, right? You can write information, you can share a dream, you can ask questions, and I'll be happy to chat with you that way. But I think it will facilitate your interaction with each other to have a Facebook page where you can get in there anytime and chat with other people. Okie dokie. So let's have a little journey, a little dream time. If you have a favorite dream, or if you remember as a child a pleasant dream that you used to have, you can always use that as a model to enter your dream space at night as well. So don't be afraid to pull out a dream and shake off the dust and re-enter that dream. We'll talk about the specific dream re-entry process next week as well. So we're going to play with how to go back into dreams and mine those dreams for more energy and information, to peel back some of the layers and see what's under the surface. And we're going to get that setup started just a little bit today. All right, so close your eyes and bring your attention to your breath. And if you can't close your eyes, that's fine. Bring your attention to your breath and let your body relax. And as you breathe, I want you to imagine a library, a beautiful library. It's huge. The doors are massive and gorgeous. Outside that library, up those stone steps, guarding those stairs, are two enormous statues. Notice what they are. These are not only the guardians of the library, they're the guardians of the gates between the worlds. So you can count on them to keep out what shouldn't be there and to let in anything that you need. So walk up those stairs and see the door that swings open to you. And look around that library space. And you have such a strong feeling of familiarity here. And you realize that each book in this library is a dream, a daydream, a fond pastime. Each single book in this library is another space deep within you where a dream is stored. where a daydream is stored. And you can go back and look through them. You can actually even look ahead at dreams that you will invite your way. You can look and go far into the past, looking at the dream space that you inhabited when you were young. This is a fun place to be. You might even stumble across a dream that once frightened you, but no longer would today. So the dream library, at least this room in the library, houses your dreams, your imaginings, your daydreams, your desires. And you can go in there and look around anytime you wish. This library is large, and we'll find other things in other rooms. But for today, just know that it's there, it's guarded, and it's yours. So breathe again, slow and deep. If your eyes are closed, breathe your way all the way back and open them. And if you wish, you can even sketch out the door to that library or the creatures that guarded the door. You might even go online and find a picture of a magnificent door that you enjoy. Play with this, because we're going to return here and we'll do some dreaming in this sacred library as the class goes on. Well, I hope you enjoyed class number 1, our little intro today. And again, you know where to find me. You can leave questions online. You can leave your dreams online if you like, and we will. I'll take a look at them, and we'll talk about how to move forward in uncovering the layers of your dreaming, and in how to interface your dreams, your dream time space with your waking dreams. So until then, have a marvelous week. And I will see you next time. May all your best dreams come true.